President Jacob Zuma says the Special Investigating Unit has identified 3 cases of fraud worth 17 million rand in the Gauteng Health Department. He was responding to a parliamentary question. He says the SIU investigation, which started in May 2010, is expected to be completed in November. Mercedes Besent has more.
Progress by the SIU into the Gauteng Health Department is just one of the responses that President Zuma gave about various municipalities and state institutions that were investigated. He says the 3 cases of fraud that were identified by the SIU are receiving attention. Zuma says the unit has recommended that over 15 million rands should be recovered from various former senior Gauteng Health departmental officials. He says the SIU also identified duplicate payments amounting to over 13 million rands. The president added that cash recoveries for duplicate payments amounting to 1 million rands were made. Mercedes Besent, SABC News, Parliament.
Talks on the Gauteng Freeway project between government and concerned parties will continue next week. Spokesperson for Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe Thabo Masebe says government has met the opposition to Urban Tolling Alliance, the Federation of Unions of South Africa, Business Unity South Africa and the Road Freight Agency. He says the parties have moved closer to a resolution. Motlanthe heads the Interministerial Committee on the Gauteng Freeway Improvement Project. Motlanthe earlier said everybody, including COSATU, agreed that a debt needed to be serviced and settled. The Correctional Services Department has declined to comment on a medical parole application reportedly made by the wife of convicted killer Clive Darby Lewis. Department spokesperson James Smallberger says the Medical Parole Advisory Board met yesterday to discuss medical parole applications. According to reports, Gay Darby Lewis applied for her husband's parole 2 weeks ago. 76-year-old Darby Lewis was denied parole last year. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for his role in the killing of SACP General Secretary Chris Hani in 1993. South Africa's debt market should benefit after it becomes the first country in Africa to be included in a prominent global bond index. The debut in Citigroup's World Government Bond Index put South Africa alongside 22 other countries on the index, tracked by an estimated 17 trillion rand worth of funds. The inclusion offers some comfort to government as it reels from a wave of strikes which has helped prompt a credit downgrade from ratings agency Moody's. 12 government bonds with a market value of 800 billion rand will be included. Mexico, the most recent emerging market before South Africa to be included in the index, has seen solid foreign inflows after its debut. Still in local news, Cape Town Mayor Patricia de Lille will grant 9 South African Infantry Battalion the freedom of the city today. The 800 soldiers of the battalion had been deployed in Sudan. Battalion spokesperson Lwazim Kaza says the troops will march through the city.
The mayor wants to actually thank the soldiers and congratulate the soldiers that were deployed in Sudan from the 11th of December 2011 and came back on the 16th of June 2012. Basically, we did not get into contact and we did not have major incidents where you find out our vehicles have been hijacked or anything like that has happened.
And finally, further afield, Kenyan athletic authorities are investigating allegations of doping by Kenyan athletes. There have been accusations that doctors inject middle and long-distance runners with banned substances in exchange for a percentage of their winnings. Long-distance runner Matthew Kiseyu failed a drug test at the national championships in June and says doping is widespread within the sport. But the chairperson of Athletics Kenya, Isaiah Kiplagat, has told the BBC that Kenyan athletes have always been clean.
Kenyans have been very, very clean and they continue to be clean. Like any other country, whether United States, Germany or anywhere, there are always people that will be found with a mistake of doping. But that does not mean that the Kenyans are all victims of doping problems.
And taking a look at the top story, President Jacob Zuma says the Special Investigating Unit has identified 3 cases of fraud worth 17 million rand in the Gauteng Health Department.